Now, because of this YouTube channel, quite often I will get sent plugins to test out and review, and I'm quite honest about it. If it's a plugin that I don't see myself using, I will tell them that, and obviously I won't do a video on this channel because this channel is all about my productions and what I used to do them. But I have been sent a plugin that a lot of people have been talking about, and quite honestly, I kind of use it already. So Baby Audio reached out to me with their new Smooth Operator plugin, and this plugin has been gathering quite a bit of buzz because it's very similar to another plugin that's out there that I love using within my projects. That's Oeksound Soothe 2. Now, both of them are kind of meant to smooth out and fix frequencies that are causing problems within your mix on different instruments within your project. However, the big difference is the price. Now, Smooth Operator is a quarter of the price of Soothe 2. Soothe 2 is actually £179. It's an expensive plugin, but I own it and I love it. So I was really interested when I saw that Baby Audio were coming out with something that was very similar to it, and they've pitched it at the moment as $39. That's the introductory price. The main price is $69, and even at that, it's still under half the price. So is it as good? Is it half as good? That's kind of what I want to try out today. Now, this isn't going to be a super technical test because I'm not a super technical person. If you've watched any of my videos on my channel before, you'll know that I'm kind of rough and ready. I like playing around with stuff, just seeing what I can come up with. And that's one of the things I love about Soothe 2. It's really easy to use. You get the results very easily. And I want to see if Smooth Operator can do the same job. Now, I want to give this a real world test. I want to see how it would work in one of my projects. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into a new remix that I've been working on. Just finished it off, and actually I've been using Soothe 2 quite a bit on it, on the bass, the keys and the vocals. And what I want to see is if I can swap out Smooth Operator and get a similar or better result with that.
Whatever. And never let nobody put you down. Understand that you stand on your own ground. Just persist and ride.
It's got a nice kind of real sounding bass in there. It's got some Rhodesy keys in there, and it's got the vocals. Now the bass, let's concentrate on the bass to start with. So I have Soothe 2 already on this bass, and what it's doing is it's kind of reducing some of those resonant frequencies within that lower end. It's kind of cleaning up some of the mud. If I disable it, you'll see how it sounds. You're probably going to need some headphones to really kind of hear that, but what it's doing is it's kind of getting rid of some of those resonant frequencies that really kind of cause some issues on some sets of speakers. I notice this especially when I'm listening to tracks in the car where certain frequencies can cause issues, and using Soothe 2 to kind of pick out those frequencies and just reduce them a little bit works really nicely. Okay, so let's get Smooth Operator on this bass and see if we can get a similar kind of result that we do with Smooth. Now, Smooth Operator is quite different to Soothe in the way that it works. Now, the way that Soothe works is that you take these nodes within here and increase them on the frequencies where you want to smooth more. So you want to fix those problematic frequencies. So the higher you kind of raise them, the more effect you have. You have a general effect over the whole band, but with these nodes, you can kind of increase it in certain areas. So you can pinpoint those frequencies that maybe are causing some issues and use those nodes to fix it. However, with Smooth Operator, it appears to be the opposite way around. So you drag the nodes down, and that's when it affects those frequencies more. Also, you've actually only got 2 nodes within here. You have this kind of control in the middle, which controls the full amount. So that's like your depth knob within Soothe. And you've also got these kind of nodes on the side, which are, again, are like a kind of a high shelf and a low shelf. But really, these nodes are the ones that you're going to use to kind of fix those problem frequencies. So let's see what it can do. We're going to try and fix that kind of muddy bottom end that we had before on Soothe 2. Let's try this out. So you actually have to scroll the mouse wheel to kind of adjust how much Q you want on that node. So that's kind of pinpointing the frequency I want to affect, and then I need to use this middle node to kind of decide how much I want to do. You've also got this focus control where you can kind of choose how much it's kind of focusing on those nodes. I think that's doing the same job. I'm not sure. Let's have an A/B and see how it sounds. Going between Soothe and Smooth Operator, I'm definitely feeling that Soothe is kind of smoother. It feels more full-bodied, whereas Smooth Operator seems to be taking some of that weight out of the bass. Even though I'm really trying to focus in on just that node, just take that problem frequency out, that kind of 125-ish, 100-ish kind of frequency, that kind of problem area. I'm feeling that it's taking away some of the body. Now, you're probably not going to be able to hear that very well. Even on these speakers here, I'm really struggling to kind of find those subtle differences between the two. But for me, I think Soothe just kind of pips it a bit. It feels just smoother and more full-bodied. That definitely works for me on the bass anyway. Now let's try it out on the keys. So the keys within here, now these cause me a bit of an issue. These are highly resonant. They're honestly, I spent a bit of time trying to fix it and make sure it worked. And then I'm using Soothe to kind of really kind of take out some of those problem frequencies. So if I deactivate Soothe for now, this is how it sounds without it. If you're listening on laptop speakers, you'll probably definitely hear them vibrate and have some horrible kind of sound. It probably will anyway because it's in isolation, but Soothe 2 just kind of helps smooth some of that out. Right, so let's get Smooth Operator on this and see what it can do. Now you can activate solo mode here. So when you actually hit one of the nodes within here, it will just solo that frequency. So you can really pick out, what you're actually affecting. You know what, that's not too bad. That's actually fixing some of those resonant frequencies. However, we did see a couple of resonant frequencies within there, and I've only got one node, so I can only really target one of those frequencies at a time. Now, I could obviously open up the queue and make it kind of almost cover them both. However, I'm missing that kind of middle there. There's two problem frequencies there, but I want to kind of keep that middle. Still, I think that's working pretty good actually. For the price of this plugin, I think that's working really well. So let's go back to back with Soothe and see what the differences are like. There's definitely more left in there with Soothe, more of that kind of the frequencies that are causing issues. They seem to be in there but smooth off, whereas kind of Smooth Operator is kind of taking out those frequencies, which makes it ultimately cleaner actually. And I think maybe a little bit of me thinks that is a better result on those keys. Now I did use Soothe 2 when I actually make this remix, and it's all mastered, it's all sorted now, so I can't go back and fix it or change it. But I think going forward, Smooth Operator might be quite a good thing to go for on the keys, because that seems to make them a lot cleaner. it seems to work quite well. Yes, you haven't got that kind of weight, but with keys, especially these kind of resonant kind of keys, I don't think you necessarily need it. I don't know. It's one of those things on an individual basis, you can kind of make that decision. But I am definitely impressed with that. It works pretty well. Now let's look at the vocals.
And never let nobody put you down. Understand that you stand on your own ground.
So those are the kind of raw vocals. I've got a little bit of treatment on there. I've rolled some of the bottom end off just to get rid of some of that rumble. And I've kind of put a high shelf in there just to kind of boost some of those highs, give it a bit of air almost. I've also got the fresh air on there as well, just giving those vocals a little bit of air. They kind of felt a little bit muffled before, so I kind of wanted to give them a little bit more air. However, that kind of highlights some of the S's and some of the harshness within that vocal. And that's why I kind of use Soothe. So let me show you the before and after with Soothe.
And never let nobody put you down. Understand that you stand on your own ground. And never let nobody put you down. Understand that you stand on your own ground.
That's one of the great things about Soothe. I just love the fact that it's very simple to use and it just smooths things off. I'm never actually quite sure what it's doing. It's getting rid of those resonant frequencies, but it kind of just makes things sound softer and smoother. Not kind of taking away the edge so much, but it just kind of the harshness of them. And sometimes it's a little bit too much, and that works really well. Let's get Smooth Operator on there and see if it can do a similar job.
And never let nobody put you down. Understand that you stand on your own ground. And never let nobody put you down. Understand that you stand on your own ground. And never let nobody put you down. Understand that you stand on your own ground. And never let nobody put you down. Understand that you stand on your own ground.
That's actually doing really well. It's getting rid of some of that harshness. I took that middle kind of control down to kind of see what it would be like if it was affecting everything. And it seemed to be just boosting everything, which is just... yeah, wasn't what I was after with this. I wanted to kind of cut some of those S's, some of that kind of harshness, and taking that node down worked quite well. Let's see what it's like with solo. I want to hear what it's actually affecting.
And never let nobody put you down. Understand that you stand on your own ground.
Oh, when he says stand, you can hear that kind of that resonant frequency almost kind of just popping. Yeah, it's great that it's getting rid of that.
And never let nobody put you down. Understand that you stand on your own ground. And never let nobody put you down. Understand that you stand on your own ground. And never let nobody put you down. Understand that you stand on your own ground.
You know what? Again, that's not a bad result. Let's have a go A and B between the two.
And never let nobody put you down. Understand that you stand on your own ground. And never let nobody put you down. Understand that you stand on your own ground. And never let nobody put you down. Understand that you stand on your own ground.
Now in this example with this vocal, I can really hear the difference between the two different plugins. And yes, I might not have quite got them both dialed in exactly the same. However, I can hear a difference. With Soothe 2, it's kind of smoothing things out without it feeling muffled. It's still clear, but it's smoothed out. However, with Smooth Operator, it feels brighter. I think it's fixing those problem frequencies. It does to my ears anyway, but it also feels quite bright. Still a little harsh, but definitely brighter than Soothe 2. So I think really this is a great kind of case for both of them really. It depends on what you want to do with the source. I think going forwards, if I'm looking to make something brighter, but still get rid of those frequencies, I might reach for Smooth Operator first. However, Soothe 2 is still probably going to be my go-to because I like being able to kind of smooth stuff out but keep that clarity. And I think ultimately that is the kind of difference between the two. I mean, obviously we have a massive price difference, and I reckon for the price it's well worth picking up. It's a crazy bargain, especially if you don't have Soothe 2. I definitely recommend getting Smooth Operator because they're very comparable. Like they're very, very similar, and you can get a good result out of Smooth Operator. Owning both myself now, I would say that Soothe 2 is still top of my list. I think it's still a better plugin, which I'd expect for 3 or 4 times the price. But Smooth Operator is definitely going to work its way into my workflow. And I think in cases where Soothe 2 is just a little bit too soft and I want that kind of brighter kind of approach, then Smooth Operator might be a really good alternative. So yeah, Smooth Operator definitely gets a thumbs up from me, and I know I got it sent to me by Baby Audio, but this is my honest opinion. You've seen me try out on one of my tracks And for the most part, I think I'm still going to be using Soothe 2. That's still going to be top of my list, but Smooth Operator has definitely really impressed me, and I can see myself using it when I'm looking for that kind of brighter sound. And there's just no argument. The price at the moment for it, even at its regular price, is still a bargain compared to Soothe 2. And whilst it's at this introductory price, I definitely recommend picking it up.